great soul Narada Muni plays his stringed veena, the holy name of Radhika Ramana descends and immediately appears amidst the Kirtan of the Lord's devotees. Like a monsoon cloud, the holy name showers pure nectar into their ears. Due to the great ecstasy, all the devotees enthusiastically dance to their heart's content. All the inhabitants of the universe become maddened upon entering these intoxicating showers of divine sweetness. Some people cry, some dance, and others become fully. Five-faced Lord Shiva embraces Narada Muni and repeatedly shouts in ecstasy, while Lord Brahma dances very ecstatically and exclaims, "All of you chant Hari Bo!" In supreme happiness, thousand-faced Ananta Shesha sings and calls out, "Hari Hari!" Hari, Hari. By the influence of the transcendental vibration of the holy name, the whole universe becomes mad with ecstasy as everyone relishes the mellows of the holy name. The holy name of Sri Krishna has fulfilled all my desires by thus manifesting on everyone's tongue. Bhakti Vinoda, the humble servant of the Lord, therefore prays at the feet of Sri Rupa Goswami that the chanting of the Harinama may always continue in this way.
That's the Lordship, that's the notion of it, right? Who's this author?
For Parama Karuna. And Narottam Das Punita Kadavana. So which one we doing? Parama Karuna?
Yeah.
Paramakaruna Vijnana Nishai Gora Chandra.
Paramakaruna Vijnana Nishai Gora Chandra.
Hey, Paramakaruna Vijnana Nishai Gora Chandra. Paramakaruna
purport of Prabhupada for this song.
We don't have the purpose.
What about Guru?
I don't think they
Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is a song by Lochanadas Thakura. Pahu means Lord and Duijana means two. Lochanadas Thakura declares that the two lords, Nitai Gaurachandra, Lord Nitai and Lord Chaitanya, are very merciful, Parama Karuna. Saba Avatara Sara Shiromani. Avatara means incarnation and Saba means all. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that prosecuting their way of self-realization is simply joyful, Kevala Ananda Kanda, for they introduce chanting and dancing. There are many incarnations, such as Lord Rama and even Krishna, who taught Bhagavad Gita, which requires knowledge and understanding. But Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda introduced a process that is simply joyful. Therefore, Lochanadasa requests everyone, Chaitanya Nitai, my dear brother, I request that you just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to the desired goal. It will. It is the assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all perfection. Therefore, one must chant with firm faith and conviction, Vishwasa Kori. But what is the process? The process is Vishaya Chadiya Serase Majiya. If one wants to be Krishna conscious, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. That is the only restriction. If one gives up sense gratification, it is sure that he will reach the desired goal. Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hari Hari, without any motive of sense gratification. Dekha ore bhai, Tribhuvananai, Lochana Dasa Thakura says, my dear brother, examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda, because their merciful qualities are so great that they make even birds and beasts cry, what to speak of human beings. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya passed through the forest known as Jarikanda, the tigers, elephants, snakes, deer and all other animals joined him in chanting Hare Krishna. It is so nice that anyone can join, even the animals can join, what to speak of human beings. Of course, it is not possible for ordinary men to induce animals to chant, but if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could inspire animals to chant, at least to adopt this path of Hare Krishna mantra chanting, it is so nice that the heart, even the most stone-hearted man, will be melted. Pashana means stone. It is so nice that even stone will melt. But Lochana is trapped by sense gratification. He addresses himself, my dear mind, you are entrapped in this sense gratification process and you have no attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. Since you have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, what can I say? I can simply think of my misfortune. Yamaraja, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. Lochan Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Guru Kripa Vindujiya Korore Dase Vinapika Tina
Gurudev Kripa Vindujiya Korore Dase Vinapika Tina
Guru Kripa Vindujiya Korore Dase Vinapika Tina Gurudev
Gurudev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respect, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life.
What about this one? I don't know if you know it. It's a 1, 2 beat. Srina. Gai Gaura Madhusware Nam Gai
Gaura Madhusware
Nam Gai Gaura Madhusware Nam Gai
Gaura Madhusware
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare
What's next?
Maya Jala Hara
Acha Meche Kaya.
What did I do with my foot now? Sorry. His body during embarrassment, huh? Embarrassed. Maya Jali Madhuriye Achami Cheka Jaloye
sings in very sweet voice.
What does he sing?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That was sweet. Go ahead.
Whether you are a householder or a sannyasi, constantly chant Hari Hari.
Hari Hari.
Do not forget this chanting, whether you are in a happy condition or a distressful one. Just fill your lips with the Harinama. You are bound up in the network of Maya and are forced to toil fruitlessly. Now you have obtained full consciousness in the human form of life. So chant the names of Radha Madhava. Your life may end at any moment, and you have not served the Lord of the senses, Rishikesha. Take this advice of Bhakti Vinod Thakura. Just once, relish the nectar of the holy name.
Then you get a higher taste, you go back, you can give up chewing the chew. That's what we're doing. We're chewing the chew, thinking we're going to get some pleasure. This time we're going to get pleasure out of it, says Radhadesh. But it's not there. I'm looking on the wrong side. We want pleasure, we have to come on the spiritual side. And this holy name is the easiest way to get the higher taste. That's a fact. Okay, Jaya Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari,
Jaya Radha Madhava.
Jaya
then Krishna will create.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Om Jnanatmidam Dasya Janaganasalakayam Chakshusmritam Jena Tasmai Shri Vivre Maha Shri Chaitanya Manubhisam Sahatam Jena Bhutale Sayam Mukha Vedamaya Vedamaya Vedamika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Text 20.
Yes. 9 chapter, text 20.
Travidyam lam soma paputta papa yagnaya ishta svargakim vartayante te punyam asadya turangalokam asnati divi deva bhoga. Translation. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Report. The word Trividya refers to the three Vedas, Sama, Yaja, and Rig. A Brahmin who has studied these three Vedas is called a Trivedi. Anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from these three Vedas is respected in society. Unfortunately, there are many great scholars of the Vedas who do not know that the ultimate purpose of studying them. What is the ultimate purpose of studying them? Therefore, Krishna, hearing, declares himself to be the ultimate goal for the three Vedas. Actual three Vedas take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. Devotional service begins with the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Side by side, study, side by side, trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifice to the different demigods like Indra and Chandra. By such endeavor, the worshippers of different demigods are certainly purified of the contamination of the lower qualities of nature and are thereby elevated to the higher planetary systems or heavenly planets known as Mahaloka, Dhyanaloka, Tapaloka, etc. Once situated on those higher planetary systems, one can satisfy his senses hundreds of thousands of times better than on this planet. We don't have to translate, no? Okay? So throughout the Gita, Krishna is advising us to worship him. Don't be DVD by some demigod or by some material goal. Everybody has a goal. They want to get a PhD, they want to become famous, they want to become more powerful. All these people are ashanta. They can't be peaceful because there's always somebody more powerful. Just like Putin wanted to be more powerful, but then someone else is more. So anxiety is there. As long as we have desire for power, we can't be peaceful. But if we worship the powerful, the source of power, then we can be peaceful. In any situation. Even if we're losing, so to speak. There's always some gain and loss in the material world, but we're not attached. Like even the Pandavas had to see their dear child, Abhimanyu, killed on the battlefield. So, still, they remained steady and understood this is somehow the arrangement of the Lord. So that Nishta, we were speaking about this yesterday, the other day, how we have to become Nishta, steady. And it's possible. Because we have the shelter, Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya. If we take that shelter, then we'll be steady in our devotional service. I was going to tell them, it came to my mind just now, one story I had related to Srila Prabhupada. I told how I was giving massage. And during that period of 3 months, I was giving, most guys the one giving massage. And one day, then I was giving massage, and when we massaged Prabhupada, we ended up with his feet. And Prabhupada was kind of resting, a little bit nodding, and I saw opportunity. The massage was finished, the time was up. So I took his 2 lotus feet and put them on my chest. And Prabhupada opened his eyes, he saw what I did, and his first reaction was, he was shy. It was almost like, you're worshiping me too much. So it was like, that was the first reaction. He was very humble. He knew that I was submitting to him, and he took it not in a bold way, yes, you should be worshiping me like this, no. But in a very shy way, he accepted it. And then I kept looking at his eyes, and I was holding his feet on my chest, and his eyes started to get brighter and brighter. And so bright I couldn't look at them. I had to look away. He was real. He wasn't bluffing. He was really a pure devotee. Another story you might find interesting. So I got attached to the service of giving Srila Prabhupada massage. For 3 months I was doing it. And I would have been asking him, when you leave Prabhupada, can I go with you? And to continue the service, he was going back to Boston from London, 1969, December. So Prabhupada was non-committal. He just let us see what Krishna wanted, like that. So then one day, maybe 4 or 5 days before the plane that he was going to be leaving, middle of December, and his servant came to me, Krishna. He said, stop bothering Prabhupada about coming back to America, because another devotee, Upendra, Prabhupada has already given permission to meet us in Boston, and he's going to do this service of giving this up. So later in the day, I was driving Srila Prabhupada, just the 2 of us in the car in London, and I spoke very clearly. Prabhupada was just here, in arm's reach. I said, Srila Prabhupada, Purushottam, that is, Purushottam said that Upendra is going to be giving you massage when you go back to America. So Prabhupada knew I wanted to do that, and he knew that I was a little attached to it, but his response was silence. Complete silence. It was just he and I spoke very clearly. He didn't say a word. And then I thought, it must be true that Pendra's going to be doing it. But then I thought, the next thought was, well, I don't want to twist Prabhupada's arm and say, you have to take me. No, I resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't going. So that was okay. But still the silence was there. So I thought, how to break the silence? So I said, Srila Prabhupada, Upendra, I never met him. Is he a nice boy? Just to, break the silence and let Prabhupada know that I was resigned not to go. And Prabhupada responded by saying, not as nice as you. Oh, it right into my heart. Prabhupada loves me. And he did. He loved us. He loved everyone. And when he saw a little spark of surrender, he fanned it. He saw that I was resigned not to going, and he was encouraging. Not as nice as you. No. So this is Prabhupada's, it was the thing that was most amazing to me about Prabhupada, his ability to encourage everyone. From whatever position, if they came in front of him, his presence or his movement somehow, he was encouraging. Don't stop chanting. Keep this process going, like that. Only when he saw that some devotees were disturbing the whole movement, then he became more strict with them. I read in the conversation books, which are wonderful, by the way. We have like 38 volumes of conversations, which were recorded in Prabhupada's room, so you can get a real feel of how Prabhupada was dealing with people. But there was a complaint that these two devotees were disturbing his movement. So Prabhupada talked to them, he tried to sort it out, but he saw that they were incorrigible. So he told them, actually, you know, you're both very advanced, you don't really need a guru. That means, it was Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada was rejecting them. He did it in a complimentary way, but it was like a big insult. You don't need a guru. Everybody needs a guru. But they were causing disturbance, so Prabhupada renounced them. And they both, of course, fell into Maya. I know some of their activities after they probably told them they didn't need a guru. So, but otherwise, Prabhupada was, he said himself, he's 80% lenient. But in the last days, coming up, what time is it? I got it. In the last days, coming up to his departure, in Vrindavan, lying on the bed, then he was more, not so lenient. Little mistake, he would chastise. But most of the time he was always smiling, encouraging at every step. But if we made a mistake in those last days, he would be very quick to correct us. He corrected me at that time also. Just by moving his shoulder. I had said something inappropriate, and Prabhupada was not pleased with it. I had spoken out of turn, and Prabhupada didn't say anything. He just turned on the bed, away from me. And I felt like his shoulder was going into my heart. I felt terrible that I hear Prabhupada in his last day. Of course, we were hoping it wasn't the last days, but it was. And I'm disturbing him like that. But then, after some time of being quiet, Tamakrish Maharaj was speaking to him, and then maybe 5 minutes remained, or more of talking, and then Tamakrish Maharaj said, would you like Jiva Granth Swami to sing? Sometimes I was asked to sing in front of Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said yes. And that's when I sang Yasamati Nandana. That's why I always like to sing Yasamati Nandana. Because I sang that to Prabhupada there in the last days. And I had emotion because I just been chastised. You know how you feel when you're chastised. So I was full of emotion, and I put that into the song, and everybody appreciated it. Prabhupada appreciated it. That I was singing with feeling, not just repeating. This is our goal. We want to sing with love, isn't it? Not just a repetition like a parrot. We can teach a parrot how to chant Hare Krishna. But if you throw a cat at it, you won't chant Hare Krishna. So if we can sing with emotion, feeling, even without japa, it's about Gopishwara Baji. When he was chanting japa, he was like, his words were full of emotion. He was chanting with emotion. So this is wanted. We want to pour out our soul for Krishna. In the kirtan, it's easier, but also in japa, our japa can be just dry repetition, or it can be full of feeling. We're calling Krishna, please Krishna, pick me up. Please, let me glorify you. You're so wonderful, I want to praise you. So these feelings can be there. And the more we have the feeling, then the more Krishna will be attracted to hear us and to reciprocate. He's in our heart, he knows what is our mentality. Are we actually trying to please him? Or are we trying to use him for our sense gratification? This is the general. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us this, give us this. So we have to get beyond that stage of asking, and we have to be thinking how to give. That's so wonderful about the preaching movement, where Krishna clearly says, no one is more dear to me than one who explains this subject to the innocent people. So we all have that opportunity to preach. New people are coming, We take a little time, to effort, to convince them, then it's very pleasing to Krishna. Krishna said, no one is more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Therefore, he was stressing, even in the last days, he was preaching. He was preaching to me. He was preaching to everybody. Like one devotee, I won't mention his name, he's a big devotee. He left and he went to Calcutta, he had some business on it. And then he came back, and Prabhupada was talking to all of us. He said, why is it you're not here in the room with me? I wasn't guilty of that, because I used to come to the room whenever I got a chance. And we used to sing with the small cartels, even all night we were singing. We worked in shifts, 2 hours, and we called him. Kirtan was going to Prabhupada's room. He wasn't chanting chapter, he wasn't well enough to chant chapter, but Kirtan was always going. It was a small cartel. Only time we stopped, when Prabhupada was speaking, then everybody would stop and we would listen to what Prabhupada would say. So he was always, I lost my train of thought, what was I saying?
One big devotee had started a business. A big devotee had started.
Oh, thank you, yeah. So he, Prabhupada was kind of chiding us, why are you not here? So the big devotee said, no, I had work in Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, that's all right, but even when you're here, please in Vrindavan, you're not here in my room. He wanted us. He sent messages to all over the world that my disciples should come. He could understand he was going to leave the body soon, so he wanted us all to be there. But they didn't. Many of them didn't come, or many of them thought they, had more important work to do. Anyway, that's the history, but probably wanted us to be there in his last days. Here's Prabhupada Ki. Okay, any questions? We only have 1 or 2 minutes. We have books here. We can see after the program.
Yes, you said that it is known that Krishna likes it when we preach to innocent people, but at the same time we hear that it's an offense to tell the glories of the holy names to the atheists.
So now we have to see if they're innocent or whether they're against Krishna. The problem is this: how do we know if someone is? We can preach to them without offense, because the 9th offense is there, to preach to the glories of the holy name to the faithful. The Prabhupada's answer was, if they're ready to hear from us, then we can accept them as innocent person. Most people won't hear, they want to talk. You say 2 words, they'll say 5 words. So therefore we just kind of go, okay, Hare Krishna. We're looking for innocent people. Innocent people, Prabhupada said yes. The innocent is one who is ready to hear from us. We have the absolute truth. Not by our credit, but just by our good fortune. We met a person who gave us the absolute truth. And here it is, Bhagavad Gita. This is the absolute truth, is spoken by Krishna, the supreme truth, the cause of all causes. So please, try to understand. If they're ready to hear, we can go on talking and give them a book. I would like the books to be distributed, that's a fact. He sometimes commented that you speak something, it goes in one ear, out the other, but if you give them a book, they'll think, well, I paid some money for this, let me see what's here. And then they'll immediately come to the words of the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. I mean, I'm every day reading Bhagavad Gita, practically, and I'm giving that. I'm always impressed with Prabhupada's realization that every purport is full of his realizations. He's not just repeating something he heard, but he's realized it. He's acted on it, he's realized it, and he's giving it to us. It's sweeter even than Krishna's word. The example is given of Sukha, the parrot who touches the fruit. By his beak, it makes the fruit sweeter. So this is the process, right? Hearing from Srila Prabhupada, reading his purports very carefully, will become more and more. Just like now we're going to be Krishna Murti after Arti. It's so nice, right? I was very happy last night we were reading Krishna Murti. So we can stop now. I think it's time.
Yes.
What time you have?
7.
Just to clarify, so when we assess somebody as innocent, we can start telling them, but to the extent they are open, because if after some time they don't want it anymore, we need
Then we put the book in their hand. No, don't go without this. And they say, okay. Well, we just ask a small donation. What? Bhagavad Gita.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki.
Sri Krishna Swami Maharaj ki.
What does this say? I don't sit here. I think we should mark this down. Yeah, I don't know if I Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna.
Kirtan. Kirtan.
Oh, namaste. Yeah. Namaste.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hey!
Namaste
Jai.
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare.
Krishna, 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 Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Krishna, 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 Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama.
Chapter 35 in Krishna book, the gopis' feelings of separation. The gopis of Vrindavan were so attached to Krishna that they were not satisfied simply with the rasa dance at night. They wanted to associate with him and enjoy his company during the daytime also. And Krishna went to the forest with his cowherd boyfriends and cows. The gopis did not physically take part, but their hearts went with him. And because their hearts went, they were able to enjoy his company through strong feelings of separation. Page 311. To acquire this strong feeling of separation is the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and his direct disciples, the 6 Goswamis. When we are not in physical contact with Krishna, we can associate with him, like the gopis, through feelings of separation. Krishna's transcendental form, qualities, pastimes, and entourage are all identical with him. There are 9 different kinds of devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna in feelings of separation elevates the devotee to the highest perfectional level, to the level of the gopis. It is stated in Srinivasacharya's prayer to the 6 Goswamis that they left the material opulences of government service and the princely status of life and went to Vrindavan where they lived just like ordinary mendicants, begging from door to door. But they were so much enriched with the gopis' feelings of separation that they enjoyed transcendental pleasure at every moment. Similarly, when Lord Chaitanya was at Jagannath Puri, he was in the role of Radharani feeling separation from Krishna. Those who are in the disciplic succession of the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya should always feel separation from Krishna, worship his transcendental form, and discuss his transcendental teachings, his pastimes, his qualities, his entourage, and his association. That will enrich the devotees to the highest devotional perfection. Feeling constant separation while engaged in the service of the Lord is the perfection of Krishna consciousness.
The gopis used to discuss Krishna amongst themselves. They talked to his father. My dear friend, one gopi said, do you know that when Krishna lies on the ground, he rests on his left elbow, and his head rests on his left hand. He moves his attractive eyebrows while playing his flute with his delicate fingers, and the sound he produces creates such a nice atmosphere that the denizens of the heavenly planets who travel in space with their wives and beloveds stop their airplane, where they are stunned by the vibration of the flute. The wives of the demigod who are seated in the plane then become very much ashamed of their singing and musical qualifications. Not only that, but they become afflicted with conjugal love, and their hair and tight clothes immediately loosen. Another gopi said, my dear friends, Krishna is so beautiful that the goddess of fortune always remains on his chest, and he is always adorned with a golden necklace. Beautiful Krishna plays his flute in order to enliven the hearts of many devotees. He is the only friend of the suffering living entities. When he plays his flute, all the cows and other animals of Vrindavan, although engaged in eating, simply take a morsel of food in their mouths and stop chewing. Their ears raise up and they become stunned. They do not appear alive, but like painted animals. Krishna's flute playing is so attractive that even the animals become enchanted, but to speak of ourselves. Another gopi said, my dear friends, not only living animals, but even inanimate objects like the rivers and the lakes have become stunned when Krishna passes with a peacock feather on his head and his body smeared with the minerals of Vrindavan. With leaves and flowers decorating his body, he looks like some hero. When he plays on his flute and calls the cows with Balaram, the river Yamuna stops flowing and waits for the air to carry dust from the Lord's feet. But the river Yamuna is unfortunate, like us, and does not get Krishna's mercy. The river simply remains stunned, stopping its waves, just as we also stop crying for Krishna in expectation. In the absence of Krishna, the gopis were constantly shedding tears, but sometimes, when they expected that Krishna was coming, they would stop crying. But when they saw that Krishna was not coming, then again they would become frustrated and begin to cry. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the origin of all Vishnu forms, and the cowherd boys are all demigods. But just as Lord Vishnu is always worshipped and surrounded by different demigods like Lord Shiva, or Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and others, when Krishna travels through the Vrindavan forest or walked on the Govardhan hill, he was accompanied by the cowherd boys. While walking, he played his flute just to call his cows. Just by his association, the trees, plants, and other vegetation in the forest immediately became Krishna conscious. A Krishna conscious person sacrifices everything for Krishna. Although the trees and the plants were not very advanced in consciousness, by the association of Krishna and his friends, they also became Krishna conscious. They wanted to deliver everything, whatever they had, namely their fruits, flowers, and honey incessantly falling from their branches. Golo.
When Krishna walked on the bank of the Yamuna, he was seen nicely decorated with tilaka on his face. He was garlanded with different kinds of forest flowers, and his body was smeared with the pulp of sandalwood and tulasi leaves. The bumblebees became mad after the fragrance and sweetness of the atmosphere and began to hum. Being pleased by the humming sound of the bees, Krishna would play his flute, and together the sounds became so sweet to him that aquatic birds like cranes, swans, and ducks were charmed. Instead of swimming or flying, they become stunned. They closed their eyes and entered a trance of meditation and worship of Krishna. One group he said, "My dear friends, Krishna and Balaram are so nicely dressed with earrings and pearl necklaces. They enjoyed themselves on the top of Govardhana hill, and everything became absorbed in transcendental pleasure when Krishna plays on his flute, charming the whole creature manifestation. When he plays, the clouds stop their loud thundering out of fear of him. Rather than disturb the vibration of his flute, they respond with mild thunder and so congratulate Krishna, their friend. Krishna is accepted as the friend of the cloud because both the cloud and Krishna satisfy the people when they are disturbed. When the people are burning due to excessive heat, the cloud satisfies them with rain. Similarly, when people in the materialistic life become disturbed by the blazing fire of material things, Krishna consciousness gives them relief like a cloud. The cloud and Krishna, having the same bodily color also, are considered to be friends. Desiring to congratulate its superior friend, the cloud poured not water, but small flowers and covered the head of Krishna just like an umbrella to protect him from the scorching sunshine.
One of the gopis told Mother Yashoda, "My dear mother, your son is very expert among the cowherd boys. He knows all the different arts of how to tend the cows and how to play the flute. He composes his own songs, and to play them he puts his flute to his mouth. When he plays, either in the morning or in the evening, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and bow their heads and listen with great attention. Although they are very learned and expert, they cannot understand the musical arrangement of Krishna's flute. They simply listen attentively and try to understand, but they become bewildered and nothing more." Another gopi said, "My dear friends, when Krishna returns home with his cows, footprints of the soles of his feet with the flag, thunderbolt, trident, and lotus flower relieve the pain the earth feels when the cows traverse it. He walks in a stride which is so attractive, and he carries his flute. Just by looking at him, we become lusty and to enjoy his company. At the time our movements cease, we become just like trees and stand perfectly still, unaware that our hair and clothes are loosening." Krishna had many thousands of cows, and they were divided into groups according to their colors. They were also differently named according to color. When he would prepare to return from the pasturing ground, he would gather all the cows as Vaishnavas count 108 beads, which represent the 108 individual gopis. So Krishna would also count the 108 to count the different groups of cows. When Krishna returns, he is garlanded with tulasi leaves. A gopi described him to a friend. He puts his hand on the shoulder of a cowherd boyfriend and begins to blow his transcendental flute. The wives of the black deer become enchanted upon hearing the vibration of his flute, which resembles the vibration of the veena. The deer come to Krishna and become so charming that they stand still, forgetting their homes and husbands. Like us, who are enchanted by the ocean of the transcendental qualities of Krishna, the she-deer become enchanted by the vibration of his flute.
Very good.
Another gopi told Mother Yashoda, "My dear mother, when your son returns home, he decorates himself with the buds of the kunda flower, and just to enlighten and gladden his friends, he blows his flute. The breeze blowing from the south creates a pleasing atmosphere because it is fragrant and very cool. Minor demigods like the Gandharvas and Siddhas take advantage of this atmosphere and offer prayers to your son by sounding their bagels and drums. Krishna is very kind to the inhabitants of Brajabhumi, Vrindavan, and when he returns with his cows and friends, he is remembered as the lifter of Govardhana hill. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the most exalted demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva come down to offer their evening prayers, and they accompany the cowherd boys in glorifying the qualities of Krishna." Krishna is compared to the moon, born in the ocean of the womb of Devaki. When he returns in the evening, it appears that he is fatigued, but he still tries to gladden the inhabitants of Vrindavan by his auspicious presence. When Krishna returns, garlanded with flowers, his face looks beautiful, adorned with golden earrings. He walks into Vrindavan with a stride just like the elephant and slowly enters his home. Upon his return, the men, women, and cows of Vrindavan immediately forget the scorching heat of the day. Such descriptions of Krishna's transcendental pastimes and activities were remembered by the gopis during his absence from Vrindavan. They give us some idea of how attractive Krishna is, not only to human beings but to all animate and inanimate objects. In Vrindavan, everyone and everything is attracted to Krishna, including the trees, the plants, the water, and animals like deer and cows. That is the perfect description of Krishna's attractiveness. The example of the gopis is very instructive to persons who are trying to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. One can very easily associate with Krishna simply by remembering his transcendental pastimes. Everyone has a tendency to love someone. That Krishna should be the object of love is the central point of Krishna consciousness. By constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and remembering the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, one can be fully in Krishna consciousness and thus make his life sublime and fruitful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 35th chapter of Krishna, the Gopis, feelings of separation.
Yeah. What's next?
36.
No, first, before that. So you're
One more chapter? Next chapter, 36. Kamsa's sense of for Krishna. Go.
Vrindavan was always absorbed in the thought of Krishna. Everyone remembered his pastimes and was constantly merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss. But the material world is so contaminated that even in Vrindavan, the asuras or demons try to disturb the peaceful situation. Once a demon named Aristasura entered the village in the form of a great bull, with a gigantic body huge, digging up the earth with his hooves. When the demon entered Vrindavan, the whole land appeared to tremble, as if there were an earthquake. He roared fiercely, and after digging up the earth on the riverside, he entered the village proper. The fearful roaring of the bull was so piercing that some of the pregnant cows and women had miscarriages. Its body was so big, stout, and strong that a cloud hovered over its body, just as clouds hover over mountains. Aristasura entered Vrindavan with such a fearful appearance that just on seeing this great demon, all the men and women were afflicted with great fear, and the cows and other animals fled the village. The situation became very terrible, and all the inhabitants of Vrindavan began to cry, "Krishna, Krishna, please save us." Krishna saw that the cows were running away, and he immediately replied, "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." He then appeared before Aristasura and said, "You lowest of living entities, why are you frightening the inhabitants of Gokula? What will you gain by this action? If you have come to challenge my authority, then I am prepared to fight you." In this way, Krishna challenged the demon, and the demon became very angry by the words of Krishna. Krishna stood before the bull, resting his hand on the shoulder of a friend. The bull proceeded toward Krishna in anger, digging the earth with his hooves. Aristasura lifted his tail, and it appeared that clouds were hovering about the tail. His eyes were reddish and moving in anger. Pointing his horns at Krishna, he charged him, just like the thunderbolt of Indra. But Krishna immediately caught his horns and tossed him away, just as a gigantic elephant repels a small inimical elephant. Although the demon was perspiring and appeared very tired, he took courage and got up. Again he charged Krishna with great force and anger. While rushing toward Krishna, he breathed very heavily. Krishna again caught his horns and immediately threw him to the ground, breaking his horns. Krishna then began to kick his body, just as one squeezes a wet cloth on the ground. Being thus kicked by Krishna, Aristasura rolled over and began to move his legs violently. Bleeding from the mouth and passing stool and urine, his eyes starting from their sockets, he passed to the kingdom of death.
The demigods in the celestial planets showered flowers on Krishna for his wonderful achievement. Krishna was already the life and soul of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, and after killing this demon in the shape of a bull, he became the cynosure of all eyes. With Balaram, he triumphantly entered Vrindavan village, and the inhabitants glorified him in Balaram with great jubilation. When a person performs some wonderful feat, his kinsmen and relatives and friends naturally become jubilant. It was after this incident that the great sage Narada disclosed to Kamsa the secret of Krishna. Narada Muni is generally known as Devadarshana, which means that he can be seen only by demigods or person on the same level with the demigods. But Narada visited Kamsa, who was not at all on the level of the demigods, and allowed Kamsa to see him. Of course, Kamsa also saw Krishna, what to speak of Narada Muni. But unless one sees the Lord or his devotees with purified eyes, one cannot derive the actual benefit. Of course, anyone who associates with a pure devotee derives imperishable benefit, which is called Ajnana security. One cannot understand how he is making progress, yet he makes progress by seeing the devotee of the Lord. Narada Muni's mission was to finish these things quickly. Krishna appeared in order to kill the demons, and Kamsa was the chief among them. Narada wanted to expedite things, therefore he immediately approached Kamsa with all the real information. "You are to be killed by the eighth son of Vasudeva," Narada told Kamsa. "The eighth son is Krishna. You were misled by Vasudeva into believing that the eighth issue of Vasudeva was a daughter. Actually, the daughter was born to Yashoda, the wife of Nanda Maharaj, and Vasudeva exchanged his son for the daughter. So you were misled. Krishna is the son of Vasudeva, as is Balaram. Being afraid of your atrocious nature, Vasudeva has tactfully hidden. Then in Vrindavan, out of your sight." Narada further informed Kamsa, "Krishna and Balaram have been living incognito in the care of Nanda Maharaj. All the Asuras, your companions who were sent to Vrindavan to kill different children, were killed by Krishna and Balaram."
As soon as Krishna got this information from Narada Muni, as soon as Kamsa got this information from Narada Muni, he took out his sharp sword and prepared to kill Vasudeva for his duplicity. But Narada pacified him. You are not pacified. You are not to be killed by Vasudeva. He said, why are you so anxious to kill him? Better try to kill Krishna and Balarama. But in order to satisfy his wrath, Kamsa arrested Vasudeva and his wife and shackled them in iron chains. Acting on the new information, Kamsa immediately called for the Keshi demon and asked him to go to Vrindavana immediately to kill Balarama and Krishna. In actuality, Kamsa asked Keshi to go to Vrindavana to be killed by Krishna and Balarama and thus get salvation. Then Kamsa called for his expert elephant trainers as well as for the wrestlers Chanura, Mushtika, Shala, Toshala, etc. And he told them, my dear friends, try to hear me attentively. At Nanda Maharaja's place in Vrindavana, there are two brothers, Krishna and Balarama. They are actually two sons of Vasudeva. As you know, I have been destined to be killed by Krishna. There is a prophecy to this effect. Now I am requesting you to arrange for a wrestling match. People from different parts of the country will come to see the festival. I will arrange to get those two boys here, and you will try to kill them in the wrestling arena. Wrestling matches are still enjoyed by people in northern India, and it appears from the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam that 5,000 years ago, wrestling was also popular. Kamsa planned to arrange such a wrestling competition and to invite people to visit. He also told the trainers of the elephants, be sure to bring the elephant named Kuvalaya Pida and keep him at the gate of the wrestling arena. Try to capture Krishna and Balarama on their arrival and have the elephant kill them. Kamsa also advised his friends to arrange to worship Lord Shiva by offering animal sacrifices and performing the sacrifice called Dhanur Yagya. And the sacrifice performed on the 14th day of the moon known as Chaturdashi. This date falls 3 days after the Ekadashi and it is set aside for the worship of Lord Shiva. One of the plenary portions of Lord Shiva is called Kala Bhairava. This form of Lord Shiva is worshipped by demons who offer animals killed before him. The process is still current in India in a place called Vaidyanatha Dhama, where demons offer animal sacrifices to the deity of Kala Bhairava. Kamsa belonged to this demoniac group. He was also an expert diplomat, and so he quickly arranged for his demon friends to try to kill Krishna and Balarama.
He then called for Akura, one of the descendants of the family of Yadu, in which Krishna was born as the son of Vasudeva. When Akura came to see Kamsa, Kamsa very politely shook hands with him and said, my dear Akura, actually I have no better friend than you in the Bhoja and Yadu dynasty. You are the most munificent person. So as a friend, I am begging charity from you. Actually, I have taken shelter of you exactly as King Indra takes shelter of Lord Vishnu. I request you to go immediately to Vrindavan and find the two boys named Krishna and Balarama. They are the sons of Nanda Maharaj. Take this nice chariot, especially prepared for the boys, and bring them here immediately. That is my request for you. Now my plan is to kill these two boys. As soon as they come in the gate, there will be a gigantic elephant named called Kuvalyapida waiting, and possibly he will be able to kill them. But if somehow or other they escape, they will next meet the wrestlers and will be killed by them. That is my plan. And after killing these two boys, I shall kill Vasudeva and Nanda, who are supporters of the Vishnu and Bodhi dynasty. I shall also kill my father, Ugrasena, and his brother Devaka, because they are actually my enemies and are hindrances to my diplomacy and politics. politics. Thus shall I get rid of all my enemies. Jarasandha is my father-in-law, and I have a great monkey friend named Dravida. With their help, it will be easy to kill all the kings on the surface of the earth who support the demigods. That is my plan. In this way I shall be free from all opposition, and it will be very pleasant to rule the world without obstruction. You may know also that Samvara, Narakasura, and Bhanusura are my intimate friends, and when I begin this war against the kings who support the demigods, they will help me considerably. Surely I shall be rid of all my enemies. Please go immediately to Vrindavan and encourage the boys to come here to see the beauty of Mathura and take pleasure in the wrestling competition. After hearing this plan of Kamsa, Akrura replied, "My dear king, your plan is very excellently made to counteract the hindrance of your diplomatic activities, but you should maintain equilibrium, for the result of your activities may be fruitful or may not be fruitful. After all, man proposes and God disposes. We may make very great plans, but unless they are sanctioned by the supreme authority, they will fail. Everyone in this material world knows that supernatural power is the ultimate disposer of everything. One may make a very great plan with his fertile brain, but he must know that he will be subjected to the fruits, miseries, and happiness. But I have nothing to say against your proposal. As a friend, I shall carry out your order and bring Krishna and Balarama here as you desire." After instructing his friend in various ways, Kamsa retired and Akrura went back to his home. As is the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 36th chapter of Krishna, Kamsa sends Akrura for Vrindavan. Kamsa sends Akrura for Krishna.
Chapter 37, Killing the Keshi demon and Vyomasura. After being instructed by Kamsa, the demon Keshi assumed the form of a terrible horse. He entered the area of Vrindavan with the speed of the light, his great mane flying and his hooves digging up the earth. He began to whinny and terrify the whole forest. Krishna saw that the demon was terrifying all the residents of Vrindavan with his whinnying and his tail wheeling in the sky like a big cloud. Krishna could understand that the horse was challenging him to fight. The Lord accepted his challenge and stood before the Keshi demon, calling him to fight. The horse then ran toward Krishna, making a horrible sound, like a roaring lion, his jaws spread wide open, as if to swallow the whole sky. Keshi rushed toward the Lord with great speed and tried to trample him with his legs, which were strong, forceful, and as hard as stone. Krishna, however, immediately caught hold of his legs and thus baffled him. Krishna was somewhat angry, and thus he began to whirl the horse around. After a few rounds, he contemptuously threw him 100 yards away, just as Garuda throws a big snake. Thrown by Krishna, the horse immediately passed out, but after a little while, he regained consciousness and with great anger and force again rushed toward Krishna with his mouth open. As soon as Keshi reached him, Krishna pushed his left arm within the horse's mouth, and it looked as though a big snake had entered a hole in the field. The horse felt great pain because Krishna's arm fell to him like a hot iron rod. Immediately his teeth fell out. Krishna's arm within the mouth of the horse at once began to expand, and Keshi's throat choked up. As the great horse suffocated, perspiration appeared on his body, and he threw his hither and thither. As his last breath came, his eyeballs bulged in their sockets, and he passed stool and urine simultaneously. Thus the vital force of his life expired. When the horse was dead, his mouth became loose, and Krishna could extract his arm without difficulty. He did not feel any surprise that the Keshi demon was killed so easily, but the demigods in the sky were amazed, and out of their great appreciation, they offered Krishna greetings by showering flowers.
After this incident, Narada Muni, the greatest of all devotees, came to see Krishna in solitary place and began to talk with him. My dear Lord Krishna, he said, you are the unlimited super soul, the supreme controller of all mystics, the Lord of the whole universe, the all-pervading personality of Godhead. You are the resting place of the cosmic manifestation, the master of all and the Lord of everyone. My dear Lord, as the super soul of all living entities, you remain concealed within the hearts, exactly with all the activities of the living entities. And you are the supreme controller within the material creation. So the material world is created by the interactions of the modes of nature, and by you it is maintained and annihilated. Although you are unaffected by all these activities, you are the supreme controller eternally. My dear Lord, you have adventured yourself on the service of this earth just to kill all the so-called kings who are actually demons. These hobgoblins are cheating people in a dress of princely order. You have adventured yourself to fulfill your own statement that you come within this material world just to protect the principles of religion and annihilate the unwanted miscreants. My dear Lord, I am therefore sure that the day after tomorrow I shall see demons like Chalura, Mustika, and the other wrestlers and the elephant, as well as Kamsa himself, killed by you. I shall see this with my own eyes. After this, I shall be able to see the killing of other demons, like Shankar, Javana, Mura, and Naraka Asura. I shall also see how you take away the Parijata flowers from the kingdom of heaven, and how you defeat the king of heaven himself.
My dear Lord, Narada Muni continued, I shall then be able to see how you marry princesses, the daughters of chivalrous kings, by paying the price of Kshatriya strength. Whenever a Kshatriya wants to marry a very beautiful and qualified daughter of a great king, he must fight his competitors and emerge victorious. Then he is given the hand of the princess in charity. I shall also see how you save King Nika from a hellish condition, said Narada Muni. This you shall attack in Devaraka. I shall also be able to see how you get your wife and the Siyamantaka jewel, and you save the son of a Brahmana from death after he has already been transferred to another planet. After this, I will be able to see you kill the Pandraka demon and burn the ashes of the kingdom of Kasi. I will see how you kill the king of Sili and Dantavraka during the great sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Besides all this, it will be possible for me to see many other chivalrous activities where you remain in Navaraka, and all these activities performed by your grace will be sung by great poets throughout the world. At the battle of Kurukshetra, you will take part as the chariot driver of your friend Arjuna and as the invisible death incarnation eternal time. You will vanquish all belligerents assembled there. I shall see a large number of military forces killed on that battlefield. My Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. You are situated completely in a transcendental position in perfect knowledge and bliss. You are completely in fulfilling all your desires. By exhibiting your eternal potency, you have set up the influences of Maya. Your unlimited potency cannot even be measured by anyone. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller. You are on your own internal potency, and it is simply vain to think that you are dependent on any of your creations. You have taken birth in the Yadu dynasty or the Vrishni dynasty. Your advent on the service of in your origin original form of eternal bliss, knowledge, is time. You are not dependent on anything but yourself. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. After appearing his respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna, Narada Muni took permission and left.
Narada Muni wanted to impress upon people in general that Krishna is fully independent. His activities, such as his appearance in the family of Yadu or his friendship with Arjuna, do not necessarily oblige him to act to enjoy their results. They are all pastimes, and for him they are all play, but for us they are actual, tangible facts. After he had killed the Kashi demon, Krishna returned to tending the cows with his friends in the forest as though nothing had happened. Thus Krishna is eternally engaged in his transcendental activities in Vrindavan with his friends, the cowherd boys and gopis. But sometimes he exhibits the extraordinary proofs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by killing different types of demons. Later that morning, Krishna went to play with his cowherd boyfriends on the top of Govardhan Hill. They were imitating the play of thieves and police. Some of the boys became police constables, and some became thieves, and some took the role of lambs. While they were thus enjoying their childhood pastimes, the demon known by the name of Vyomasura, the demon who flies in the sky, appeared on the scene. He was the son of another great demon named Maya. These demons can perform wonderful magic. Vyomasura took the part of a cowherd boy, playing as a thief, and stole many boys who were playing the parts of lambs. One after another, he took away almost all the boys and put them in the caves of the mountain and sealed the mouths of the caves with stones. Krishna could understand the trick the demon was playing, therefore he caught hold of him exactly as a lion catches hold of a lamb. The demon tried to expand himself like a heel to escape arrest, but Krishna did not allow him to get out of his clutches. He was immediately thrown on the ground with great force and killed just as an animal is killed in the slaughterhouse. After killing the Vyoma demon, Lord Krishna released all his friends from the caves of the mountain. He was then praised by his friends and by the demigods for these wonderful acts. He again returned to Vrindavan with his cows and friends. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 37th chapter of Krishna killing the Kashi demon and Vyomasura.
Try a little bit. Just a few lines. Could you please? Another time.
Akruru's arrival in Vrindavan. Narada Muni did not mention Krishna's killing Vyomasura, which means that he was killed on the same day as the Keshi demon. The Keshi demon was killed in the early morning, and after that the boys went to tend the cows on Govardhan Hill, and it was there that Vyomasura was killed. Both demons were killed in the morning. Akrura was requested by Kamsa to arrive in Vrindavan by evening. After receiving instruction from Kamsa, Akrura started the next morning by chariot for Vrindavan. Because Akrura himself was a great devotee of the Lord, while going to Vrindavan he began to pray to the Lord. Devotees are always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, and Akrura was constantly thinking of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Sorry, excuse me. He was constantly thinking of Lord Krishna's lotus eyes. He did not know what sorts of pious activities he must have performed to gain an opportunity to see Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram in Vrindavan on that day. A pure Vaishnava always thinks himself unfit to serve Krishna, so Akrura began to think within himself that he was unfit for gaining the transcendental opportunity of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He consider himself as unfit for seeing Krishna, as a materialistic person is for understanding the science of Krishna, or as a fourth class person, a Shudra, is for studying the Vedas. But when Akrura began to think, by the grace of Krishna everything is possible, and thus if he likes I will be able to see him, just as a blade of grass floating on the waves of a river may by chance come near the shore and gain shelter, the conditioned soul carried away by the waves of material existence may sometimes be saved by the grace of Krishna. Akrura thus thought that if Krishna willed, he would be able to see him. Akrura considered himself most fortunate that he was going to see Krishna, whom great mystic yogis desire to see. He was that day, all the sinful reactions of his past life would be finished, and his fortunate human life would be successful. Akrura also considered that he was very much favoured by Kamsa, who was sending him to bring back Krishna and Balaram, and thus enabling him to see the Lord. Akrura continued to consider that formerly great sages and saintly persons were liberated from the material world simply by seeing the shining nails of the lotus feet of Krishna.
That Supreme Personality of Godhead has now come just like an ordinary human being, and it is my great fortune to be able to see him face to face, Akrura thought. He was thrilled with expectations of seeing the very lotus feet which are worshipped by great demigods like Brahma, Narada, Lord Shiva, which traverse the ground of Vrindavan and which touch the breast of the gopis covered with tinges of kumkuma. He thought, I'm so fortunate that I will be able to see those very lotus feet on this day, and certainly I shall be able to see the beautiful face of Krishna, which is marked on the forehead and the nose with tilaka. And I shall also see his smile and curling black hair. I can be sure of this opportunity because I see that today the deer are passing on my right side. Today it will be possible for me to actually see the beauty of the spiritual kingdom of Vishnu Loka, and because Krishna is the supreme Vishnu and he has advanced himself out of his own goodwill. He is the server of all beauty. He is the reservoir of all beauty. Therefore, today my eyes will achieve perfection. Akrura knew beyond a doubt that Lord Krishna is the supreme Vishnu. Lord Vishnu glances over the material energy, and thus the cosmic manifestation comes into being. And although Lord Vishnu is the creator of this material world, he is free by his own energy from the influence of the material energy. By his internal potency, he can pierce the darkness of the material energy. Similarly, Krishna, the original Vishnu, by expanding his internal potency, created the inhabitants of Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is confirmed that the paraphernalia and the blood of Krishna are expansions of his internal potency. The same internal potency Krishna exhibits in Goloka Vrindavan is exhibited in the earthly Vrindavan, where he enjoys himself with his parents in the company of his friends, the cowherd boys and gopis. By the statement of Akrura, it is clear that since Krishna is transcendental to the modes of material nature, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who are always engaged in loving service to the Lord, are also transcendental.
Speaking, we stop now because the button will start, but since the people are there like yesterday, we just continue until the time.
Akrura also considered the necessity of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. He thought that the transcendental activities, instructions, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna are all for the good fortune of people in general. The people can remain constantly in Krishna consciousness by discussing the Lord's transcendental form, qualities, pastimes, and paraphernalia. By doing so, the whole universe can actually live auspiciously and advance peacefully. But without Krishna consciousness, civilization is but a decorated dead body. A dead body may be decorated very nicely, but without consciousness, such decorations are useless. Human society without Krishna consciousness is useless and lifeless. Akrura thought that Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has now appeared as one of the descendants of the Yadu dynasty. The principles of religion are those who are abiding by such laws are demigods, and those who are not abiding are demons. He has adventured himself to give protection to the demigods who are very obedient to the laws of the Supreme Lord. The demigods and the devotees of the Lord take pleasure in abiding by the laws of Krishna. And Krishna takes pleasure in giving them all sorts of protection. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, these activities of Krishna, his protecting the devotees and killing the demons, are always good for men to hear and narrate. The glorious activities of the Lord will ever increasingly be chanted by the devotees and demigods.
Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a spiritual master of all spiritual masters. He is a deliverer of all fallen souls and the proprietor of the three worlds. Anyone who is able to see him with eyes smeared with the love of Godhead enjoys a festival of seeing. Today I should be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, by his transcendental beauty, has attracted the goddess of fortune to live with him perpetually. As soon as I arrive in Vrindavan, I will get down from this chariot and fall prostrate to offer my obeisance to the Supreme Lord, the Master of material nature and all living entities. The Lord is worshipped, a great mystic yogi, so I shall also worship his lotus feet and become one of his friends in Vrindavan, like the cowherd boys. When I bow down before Lord Krishna in that way, certainly he will place his fearless lotus hand on my head. His hand is offered to all conditioned souls who take shelter under his lotus feet. Krishna is the ultimate goal of life for all people who fear material existence, and certainly when I see him, he will give me the shelter of his lotus feet. I am aspiring for the touch of his lotus-like hands on my head. When that hand touched the representations of King Indra and King Bali, these two became qualified to be lords of the universe. And when that hand touched the gopis, they danced with Krishna in the Rasa Lila. It relieved all their fatigue. In this way, Akrura expected blessings from the hand of Lord Krishna. He knew that Indra, who is the king of heaven and the master of the three worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems, was blessed by the Lord simply by his offering a little water, which Krishna accepted. Similarly, God also gave 3 pieces of land in charity to Vamanadev, and he was also offered a little water, which Lord Vamanadev accepted, and thereby Bali attained the position of Indra. When the gopis were dancing with Krishna in the rasa dance, they became fatigued, and Krishna wiped his hands, which is as fragrant as a lotus flower growing in the Manasara Sarovar lake, over the pearl-like drops of perspiration on the face of the gopis, and immediately the gopis became refreshed. Thus Akrura was expecting benediction from that supreme hand of Krishna. Krishna's hand is capable of bestowing benediction upon all kinds of men if they take to Krishna consciousness. If one wants material happiness like that of the King of Heaven, he can derive that benediction from the hand of Krishna. If one wants to impure gentle love for Krishna, wants personal association with the body, he can also gain that benediction from his hand. And now we have Bhajan next. Krishna Bhakti. Yeah. Hey.